everyone, I just thought I would do a little check-in with everybody since I did my last batch of filming, because I tend to do all my weekly filming like in one sort of batch. The world has kind of turned upside down. On Thursday, not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before was my last day working in the office for my regular job, and then they told us to all work from home. So I've been socially distancing and just working from home is really weird. So yeah, it's been very different. I know it's different everywhere, different places in the world, but where we are right now, they've told people if you can work from home, do that, work from home, socially distance. Everybody that came back into the country in the last week has to quarantine themselves for 14 days. There's like places are closed, there's no gatherings. I mean, the grocery stores are open, restaurants are allowed to be open if there's takeout, but you can't eat in, things like that. Community centers are closed, all of that. It's super quiet. It's very, very strange, and I know it's like that in a lot of places. Where I am, there isn't like a ton of cases of the virus. It's actually quite small, but they want to keep it that way so that we don't overload our systems. So I hope that wherever you are in the world, I know it's different for everybody, that you're safe and you're well and you're, you're socially distancing and doing what you can, because we want to make sure we don't spread it around to others, of course. So anyway, all of that aside, all the weirdness aside, I did make a list of things that have helped me to cope with being an anxious person during a pandemic. So, or any kind of crisis, really. So yes, I have anxiety. I've had it like probably forever. And so I'm already an anxious person. And so, having this go on has been it's very anxiety inducing for me, of course. And as sure it is for everybody, no matter if you're neurotypical or not. And there's actually studies, one comfort I've taken is studies have shown that during crises like wars and things, that people with anxiety actually tend to fare fairly well, because instead of our brain looking for imaginary things to be afraid of, it's like, okay, I have something that's real to be afraid of, and now I can take action. So that's one small comfort I take. So I'm going to give you some tips of things that have helped me. Take what works for you, leave the rest. If you have any other tips to help anybody else, please put in the comments box below, because I'm sure we could all use things to help us ease our anxiety during this kind of time. So first of all, my first one is to stay in routine. So on the days that I'm working from home for my regular job, I get up, I go through all my normal routine of like getting dressed, and I like journal and I meditate and do some yoga and stuff, and I just put makeup on and my clothes on, and just so I'm not wearing my pajamas, and then I go to my little work area that I've made and I work for the day, so that I'm kind of like my brain is in work mode. Now I know not everybody is able to work from home, so if you're one of those people, make yourself a routine so that you feel like you have purpose. You feel like you have things to do during the day. My second tip is organizing and cleaning. Of course, we have to be clean because of what's going on, but also maybe there's like a messy area that now that you have time, you can organize it. You can clean it up. You don't see the rest of this office, but it is messy. And that's going to be one of my projects during however long we are inside, however long that is. Surround yourself with things you love. So when I do my little workspace in my bedroom, when I'm working, I have like a nice cup of coffee. I'm wearing clothes that I like. I listen to like podcasts. Like, just surround yourself with things you love. Have things in your house that you love. Do things that you love. Make sure that you're surrounded with stuff that keeps you positive and makes you feel cozy and makes you feel like you're in a nice comfortable nest, so to speak. Rest. Number 4 is rest. We have time now to rest. See, now that I don't have to take a bus to work, that gives me an extra half hour to sleep in the morning, which is wonderful. And if you're not working, well, maybe you can sleep in a little longer. Now, of course, we don't want to sleep our whole day away, because that's not healthy either. But this is a good time to get some rest time, some quiet time in. The next tip is, of course, move your bodies. So, you know, I know in some areas people can't even go outside unless they're going to the grocery store. Here we can, as long as we're like, you know, distancing ourselves, that kind of thing. But, you know, put on that exercise DVD that you haven't used. Use that treadmill that maybe you haven't used in a while. You can find all sorts of exercise things on YouTube, so even if you're in a little apartment and you don't have exercise equipment, I mean, gyms are closed anyway, right? You might as well find some new routines on YouTube. I've been looking at some like belly dance routines and things, just fun things to do to keep yourself active. I also find too that exercising helps my anxiety as well. Next, of course, is eat well as well. Now, there's this whole thing with the toilet paper and people running to stores, and I don't know why people are obsessed with stocking up on toilet paper. It's really weird. But make sure, you know, like they're telling people to go to the grocery store as little as you can, but also not to only take what you need, not to stockpile, because there are some people who can't afford that, and then they go to the store and then everything's gone. So we all have to take care of each other, right? But make sure you have good foods. Maybe get like frozen vegetables and frozen fruit, and you know, it's a good time to just like make sure you're eating healthy. And what goes with that is baking and cooking, because now we have time to do those things. So if you've been wanting to do those things, now you have time to. Plus, it's funny, all these people sharing all these old recipes from like the 60s and the 50s and the 70s and 80s. I find myself going back in my mind thinking about like my mom who raised 6 kids, of how she would make food go further. And it's not that I feel like there's going to be a scarcity, but I still want to be frugal, and I want to make sure that I'm not wasting things. Next one I have is go outside if you can. Now I know not everybody can do this in this situation, but here I can still go for a walk. So I go, like it's like winter, spring here. It's sort of like one day's cold, one day's melty, another day's cold. So it's, you know, it's not the prettiest out, but it is outdoor weather. So go outside. I walk around the block at least, get myself some fresh air so I'm not just stuck inside the house all day. Next I have is meditate. So meditation, you know, if you've been saying, oh, I don't have time to meditate, now you do. I also find I have to do that for my anxiety of the day, so I do 20 minutes in the morning. I set a little timer. I have a little app on my phone. There's like free meditation apps, so this is a great time. And also, it's stressful for everybody, so I think like meditating is good. It clears the mind. It helps to calm us during these kind of times. Number 10 I have is journaling. Journaling's been really great for me because it helps me to clear my thoughts and to kind of like get a hold of all my like scurrying nervous thoughts during this time. I can like put down what I'm worried about and nobody has to see it. You know, I can, you know, just talk about things I'm concerned about and get that out of my brain and onto the page. So I think journaling is like really important in general, but in times like this, I think it's very important. Number 11 that I have is read. So again, I have time now to read those books. I have, plus I'm not going anywhere, so this is a good time to read the books that you have stacked up that you're like, I'm going to read this. And now I was looking over at my stack over there of books to read, and now it is a good time to read those books. The next thing I have is learn something. So if you've wanted to learn an instrument or you want to learn a language, you can go on Duolingo or Babbel, learn a language, take, you know, like, get in your routine, give yourself like 50 minutes even or 20 minutes to learn something. Add that in, and you know, it's like might as well use the time that we've been given. Next I have is create things. So let's say there's a hobby you've abandoned or something you've always wanted to try. Again, this is the time to do it. You know, maybe you used to draw and you don't anymore, so now you can pick up a pencil and a piece of paper, or you know, maybe you used to crochet, or you used to used to photography, that kind of thing. There's kind of a cool thing going on in our city where somebody started a group called, I think it's called like the Winnipeg Window Gallery, where they're telling people to put art in their windows so that when, you know, people walk by or people can see some beauty out there during this kind of time. And I think it also gives kids something to do, but you know, just create something of beauty, even just for yourself. I think that warms our hearts. The next one I have is music. So make yourself a playlist, make yourself an upbeat playlist, play the music that you love. Maybe put a record on. You know, I know now the trend sort of is, especially with Spotify and streaming and all that stuff, is we kind of take music in bite size, like a song here and a song there. Well, now you can just like put an album on and let it play and do your thing. Really just like find some music that really lifts you up and inspires you and makes you feel good, whatever that is. So that can really help to uplift you during these kind of times. The next thing I have is humor. This is something I've been seeing luckily on, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter is people, sort of keeping the humor up about things, making jokes and, just sort of keeping people's humor up and making people laugh. Turn off the news, watch something funny, do something that makes you laugh because it helps you to ease some of the stress hormones that go on with, being in kind of a stressful or fearful situation. So humor is another thing that, make sure that you're looking at funny things and listening to funny things. Funny podcasts too. There's lots of humorous podcasts out there to listen to. Next thing I have is turn off the news. Now, I don't want to, it's a balance, right? You want to be informed about what's going on and you want to be informed about what you need to do in your area. But I get sucked into this too, is you start looking and you see, it just, you get into this little whirlwind of sort of like fear and negativity and worrying about things. I think it's good to stay informed, see what the headlines are, see what you need to do, know what's going on, that's important, but then switch off. So what I've done is said, you can look at the news once a day so you know what's going on. We've had, and go to reliable, trustworthy news sources because there's a lot of garbage out there and a lot of misinformation, and you don't want to be spreading that stuff, especially right now because, it's important. It's life or death for some people, so we want to make sure that we are that we're going to trusted news sources. For me, I'm here in Canada, so anything like CBC, CTV, Global News are all trustworthy news sources. So I'll go to any one of those. That's good. I'm not going to go to some, I don't want to, I don't know, but it just they're normal, regular broadcasters. So anything like that in your company. BBC is really good in Britain, of course. So I'm not up on the American ones. They all seem very overdramatic to me, but I don't know. So I don't watch American news. So whatever trusted American news source, if they're American, go to those, whatever you trust. I mean, we're all different, and just go to something trustworthy is what I'm saying, whatever that is, and look at it, get your information, and then switch off and do other things, because I think something like this, especially with 24-hour news programs, we can just get sucked into watching it all day, I'm told, right? The next thing I have is reach out to others. Just because we're socially distancing doesn't mean we need to be socially isolated. So, reach out to people, see if they need help. If you're going to the grocery store, maybe an elderly neighbor or relative could use some groceries as well, or somebody that's having a quarantine, you can drop them off at their door. Reach out, ask people what they need for help. Just because we have to be apart doesn't mean that we can't pick up the phone, have a conversation with each other, talk to each other, especially during these kind of times. Reach out to people. The other things I have are pray, whatever that looks like for you, and make sure that you are tending to your spiritual life, whatever that looks like for you. I think, it's easy to get caught in worry, but I think if we channel that into prayer and into, our spiritual practices, that can give us a sense of comfort and ease during this time. And the next thing I have is gratitude. Stuff like this makes you really grateful for the everyday things. Like, I'm so grateful during this crisis we have electricity and hot water, and it's not a war. We're, I say we're safe. We're not safe from the virus, but I'm not worried about like a bomb coming and blowing things up. And it gives you an appreciation for people who in other parts of the world who've been through like all sorts of crazy things, because now we're getting a little taste of that. And it just makes you appreciative of people and things you have and the little pleasures in life. So I think it's a great time to practice gratitude. So those are my tips. If you have any other tips, please put them below. We all need help during these times. And let me know how you are, how you're doing, how are things in your part of the world. And I hope that you stay safe and well and sane during this